All right. So this is an extra special podcast episode because we have Sofia, the biologist apprentice, with us all the way from Mexico. Oh man.
Thank you very much for having me. I'm super excited to be in your show.
Yeah, this is so much fun. And you're kind of in the middle of Mexico in Aguascalientes, right?
Yes, right. That's right.
A small town.
A small town.
Sofía Villalpando.
Yeah, that's right.
That's her full name. You can catch her on YouTube and at the Biologist Apprentice, and also on Instagram, Sofia Biologista.
Yes, if you want, it's Sofia Biologist A. So much easier.
Yeah. Oh, this is so much. Oh, I'm really excited. It's a good day. The first question I have for you, we're gonna jump right in here. How did you get interested in biology and science originally?
Yeah, that's a really interesting question because everything started when I was a little girl. I was very young, and I was always, and I am still very curious about to understand how nature works and how animals are the way they are. Like why elephants are so big, or how giraffes have like such a long neck, right? I was just this tiny little person wondering about everything. So also my dad has a PhD in biology, so that kind of planted a little seed in me, and I was always surrounded by books, by biology textbooks from my dad, and I was always curious to know what these books are about. You know, being little, you are still learning how to write and how to read. So I was just very interested in all these pictures. So I still remember one of the pictures that kept my attention at that age was like the face of a wolf spider. You know, I was like so interested why this creature is so hairy and how this creature has like so many legs. And I was like, this is so interesting. I don't know what it is, but I'll keep looking. So that's pretty much it. I mean, I'm always surrounded by books. Also, my mom, she is a teacher, so it's always science education. Just keep learning things. So I was always being like embedded in this kind of thing. So it was like a natural selection for me. By the way, it was like I'm gonna pick biology, I guess.
Yeah. I think science education is so important, and one of the reasons why I wanted you on is because you're someone that you're doing that. You're educating people on science. You're making it fun and entertaining, and you know so many interesting things about animals. Do you have a favorite animal?
That's always a tricky question for me, because when people ask me, I always say like different animals because I love them all so very much. It's like, okay, today I feel like my favorite animal is this one, but I can like came down with 5 animals.
Okay, yeah, let's
so
hear that.
I'll try to pick 5. No, probably I like owls, such elegant creatures. They're like so smart, and they like hunt at night, and I was like, they seem like very smart creatures. So that's one.
Okay.
Another one that I like are wolves. I really like wolves, you know, like they're very similar to dogs, but a little bit more wild.
But when you say wolf,
yeah,
you have a lot more knowledge than the average person about like species of animals. Is there like a particular wolf that you like?
The Mexican one, of course.
Okay.
Yeah, of course. The Mexican one, probably more related to the one, and it was like super endangered at some point. So I care about my species. So I'm Mexican wolf. And probably other Mexican animal that I like are axolotls. Have you ever heard from them? This tiny Mexican axolotl.
What is that?
It's like a small salamander that has like, you know, like feathered branchias around their neck. It's like pinkish, blackish, tiny salamander. And it's very interesting because these animals have like a particular characteristic of regenerative abilities. So if
Oh,
you
that's
cut
cool.
them like a limb, the limb is gonna grow back. So that's why I like those. I also like turtles because I have two. I got them when I was a kid. My mom got them for me as a gift, and they are like probably 26 years old. So I don't know. I'm kind of worried here. Probably I'll be dead, and they'll be like very happy hanging out of my backyard. So yeah, there are those, and I think those are my favorite. Oh yeah, I remember. I also love sloths. Hopefully, I'm saying that name right. But
Sloths, yeah.
sloths, yeah, like these guys are always like very quiet in their tree. They're like kind of lazy. I'm not moving. I hope like nobody's like bothering me. I have a very slow metabolism, so those are like pretty chill and really cool, and I love those animals. So probably those are my favorites. But hey, if you come with me and give me an stuffed animal, whatever animal it is, I'll take it because I love them. So I'm saying this because my sister, she is really nice with me, and she always gives me stuffed animals. Once she went to China and she brought back a stuffed animal. It was a panda.
Okay.
And she was like, I brought this for you, and I was like so thrilled. I was so excited.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, thank you very much. I love animals. I love pandas. So it's fine.
So you have a few animals behind you. Two that you listed are on there, right? Turtles and it looks like you have a sloth on there.
No, it's a koala actually.
Okay, you got a rhino, a koala.
Yeah.
What's
this is a
okay, that's the one I thought was a sloth.
No, this is an orangutan actually.
Orangutan.
Yeah.
Then an elephant. A polar bear.
Guy over there is like a, I don't remember their name in English. I'm sorry. I'm like an antelope. And panda, toucan, and a seal, and a polar bear.
Awesome.
This actually used to be a calendar, so I just
okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah,
I did that too. I used to do that
I can throw them away. I mean, how could I do that? So I just got them, and I needed like some of like a cool background for my videos, and I was like, I'm just gonna put them up there. And then I would like to chain them for my own pictures, but with all these things happen right now, I don't want to go to any place to get them printed. So I was like, I'll just wait.
Yeah. One of my favorite recent exhibits at the Field Museum here in Chicago was the wildlife photography exhibit. That was so cool. Just all these nature photos of animals with these amazing images. And that's calendar worthy. Any pictures from there would be really super.
I mean, I would love to visit the Field Museum because I heard things about it. So I'm like really excited to someday to be able to go. But yeah, I'm such a fan of wildlife photographers because my first idea of studying biology, it was like, I want to become a wildlife photographer. But no, they're like such a badass. They spend like years and months like trying to take the perfect picture of an animal. So I don't know if I have like so much patience for that.
Yeah. So can you guess what my favorite two animals are?
Okay, let me think about it. I don't know. You give me like bear vibes, so probably it's a bear.
No.
Okay. I'm super. Just tell me it's a mammal. Just give me a hint here.
All right. So when I was a kid during summer break, I would always watch this show called Kratz Creatures in the morning on TV. It was like public television. And these two brothers would go out into the wild, whether it's like Africa or like South America, and they would get video of like all these different animals and stuff. And so one animal lives in Africa and another lives in North America.
Wow, that's a huge rage. I don't know if I can, I don't know if I can pinpoint and put my finger on which animal it is, but I don't know if that show is related to Sabumafu,
Yeah, those are the same guys.
Yeah, it's the same guys. Okay,
same guys.
So I was thinking in a lemur, but you went to Africa, so yeah, it's a lemur. I don't know, a lion,
Ooh,
zebras,
close. It's in the cat family.
A cheetah.
Yes.
Yeah, the
Oh,
cheetah.
they look so beautiful, aren't they?
I know,
so elegant.
and they run like super fast.
Okay.
And the
other one is a bird.
A bird, a blue jay.
No, something more fearsome.
Bald eagle.
No, a little less fearsome.
A little less fearsome. A duck.
A peregrine falcon.
Oh yeah, those are fearsome.
I remember those guys saying how they could dive at their prey at 80 miles an hour, and I was just like, that is awesome.
No, that are such a cool hunters. Have you seen all these videos of, they're like, you just hanging out in the air, and then they're like, boom, like super fast. Like, we're like, oh my god, just win. And the poor fish is like, help me. Yeah.
So why is understanding biology important for humankind and our future? Big question there.
Yeah. I mean, it's not only for the future. I mean, I think the understanding is like, you need to understand like now, because we're living in a situation where biology is kind of important here. So you need to understand how to understand how this living world works and how a species function and evolve and interact and evolve. And yeah, the perfect example is this pandemic. I mean, we humans as a species, we have to understand that we need to adapt to keep, like living and doing stuff. So I think this is such a crucial moment to understand why biology is important. Actually, a funny thing happened to me the other day, because one of my friends was like, why are you making these videos for the internet and where you're trying to educate people? And I was like, this is your answer. I mean, we're living in the pandemic, and you know how these vaccines work and how antibodies work, and I don't know, it's pretty important to understand, because there's the other side of science that, like, we are surrounded with fake news and with people telling that things that are not true or are not facts, and people believe those things. So that's the reason it's important, to understand the world we are living in, like right now.
Yeah. Something I've been thinking about a lot is how biology, by understanding biology, it can be applicable to like all these other things in life. Like by studying biology, say, for example, dead things are stiff and rigid, right? Living things are very flexible and fluid and adaptable, right? So it's better to like approach life from a flexible perspective and adaptable rather than like just inflexible. That's how things break, right?
Yeah. And the thing is, I've been in the other side, because I took a class about entomology, but related with dead things. It's called, I don't remember the name. I don't know why I'm blipping on this, but I'll get back to that word in a moment. But it's about how how living things are related with death. An animal dies, but then there is a process of decomposition, and then living things like insects come to this corpse and start like making their natural job. So if we understand life in the way we understand death, things will be so much easier for us. I mean, trying to understand, because there are so many things that we are still trying to figure it out from the beginning of humankind, but we're trying to get there at some point.
We got to try, right?
Yeah, sure.
I was reading this is the book right here. This book called Scale by Jeffrey West. He's a biologist, and how like the application of biology, life, death of organisms, cities, companies, like how can like as a city, everything is so interconnected. Like in ecosystems, everything is so interconnected that if one part is suffering, then the rest of it isn't at its strength, at its highest. Yeah, so that's just something I wanted to say about biology.
Yeah, no, it's fine. Actually, I was watching the news in the morning, and they were talking about climate change, because right now, currently, the world is focusing on the pandemic and like getting over this. But I think we are like fighting two fights at the same time. It's the pandemic, but climate change is still there. Remember, so we are trying to fight that thing too.
What are climate change? It seems like such a long-term type of thing, but we're seeing smaller things being impacted right now. What do you see in your own environment of climate change making an impact?
Probably the thing that I noticed the most is insects. There used to be so much insects, and now is the population is like declining, and like, man, have seen like a lot of time like passing without seeing a ladybug. Where are the ladybugs?
Really?
So this, like you said, the comment was about like the thing you said, like little organisms that sometimes we can see, they are still there and they are trying to make their job. So if we don't like care for them, how can we could like help ourselves, like if you are not protecting them? So yeah, all the animals and all organisms has like a work to do. I mean, like a natural job, because they're like into a chain of things. So if they are not like doing the thing, like I don't know, like making like corpses, like like the process of decomposition, I'm not eating those decomposition, how am I supposed to still living? That's why the other day I also made a video about cockroaches, because people like hate them, and I understand, because I hate them too. I actually started the video with, there's no other insect that I hate the most than cockroaches, but here's the big but. I understand how the importance of in nature and in our lives, and I'm saying the cockroaches that live in the woods and around the bushes, but not at our homes, because that's another conversation. That's another conversation. But we have to understand that every element that lives in this planet has something to do with us. So, and if you care for them, at the end of the day, it's gonna get back to you. And I was like, told you this is gonna happen. And the thing, the news that I watch is like, the next 30 years is gonna be the worst. And I was like, okay, thank you, thank you for the heads up. Yeah.
What's your ecosystem like in Mexico? Aguascalientes. Like, what kind of birds? What kind of plants?
Okay, I live in this small city. The city has like a semi-arid climate. Okay. Basically, if you ask me about the weather, it's like a crazy weather, because very early in the morning is like super cold, and in midday is like really, really hot, and you need like to take a shower in that moment because you're melting basically. And late the evening or night is cold again. So it's like, and right now it's like raining all the time. So, but it's happening here. But here is like, it's like the normal weather here. That's why I love the city. But in terms of animals, we have like some like deers. We have gray fox. It's like a like the regular one, but smaller and gray instead of red. We have how do you call this? I'm remembering the specific name is the Delphis virginiana, with this the scientific name, but this an opossum. I just remember. Woodpeckers that are like endemic from the city. We have some kind of amphibians that are endemic. Yeah, I have seen some of those. Snakes, skunks. Probably we have raccoons, but not here in the city. They're up there in the hills. And yeah, and plants. but we are surrounded by, like desert plants like cactus and the small one, agaves too. There's a trees called mesquites, huizaches. So yeah, I'm like surrounded by the regular kind of plants that you see in the desert.
Like arid.
So,
Okay.
yeah, like a arid environment.
Is there an ecosystem in the world that you're like fascinated by?
Deserts.
Deserts.
Yeah, but it's because mainly because my dad, he like I said, he's a PhD in biology, but
Okay.
his specialty are deserts. He's like an
Oh.
expert in desert environments. So probably he shared his love from desert from since the beginning. And I was like,
Yeah.
oh, such a cool thing, right? And I have the great joy of living in an environment that is near to that one, but
Yeah.
not. I mean, I can live here actually. I mean, but yeah, deserts are my favorite. Actually, there's a really good show on Netflix now called Night on Earth, and in the first episode, it's called Moonlit Plains, and there's like
What's it called?
The show is called Night on Earth.
Night on Earth.
On Earth, yeah.
Okay.
And in episode 1, it's called Moonlit Plains.
Okay.
Hopefully, I'm saying that name right. But there is a small segment of that episode that is everything about deserts. Is like the pollination of bats on the flowers of these giant cactus, and there is like grasshopper mouse and owls, tarantulas, and scorpions, and how the scorpions like they are bioluminescent under UV light.
Okay.
So it's such a cool episode, and I was like really fascinating. I mean, everything nature is fascinating to me, even though I know things. I try to pretend that I don't know those things, so I surprise myself. It's like, whoa. Yeah. I mean, you already know, but it's fascinating to watch it.
Do you have scorpions by you?
I know there are some species of scorpions here. I haven't seen one yet.
Okay.
At least here at home, but I have a bunch of spiders. So a lot of wolf spiders and camel spiders.
Are these like really? People have what's that phobia? Arachnophobia.
Arachnophobia. Yes.
A lot of people are afraid of spiders. I'm not necessarily, but I feel like the spiders I see on a regular basis are much smaller than the ones that you're talking about. Wolf spider, that's right. That seems like a
probably, but wolf spiders are not that big, but are like kind of this size. So
it's pretty big.
Nah, it's not that big. But because I used to have one as a pet, I remember one class assignment was like, you need to observe an animal, and I was like, okay, cool, I'll pick a spider, why not? So I took a spider from my backyard and I put them in a glass cage, just for science purposes. Just I want to clear that out. But I observed that spider for about a month, and I was like feeding her. Probably it was a her. Yeah, he was a her. He was a female spider. And I went to the pet store and I bought grasshoppers for the spider, but she didn't like them. So I have to go to my backyard and pick them, the ones that are already back there. So because she was a pig spider, very special. So that I did like a report, and everything went well. And then the spider go back into nature at the end of my project.
Have you had a lot of different pets?
I'll say not really, because my mom, she knows I love animals, and she's like, there's no way you're coming with another animal, Sofia, please stop. So when I was a kid, I had, the turtles, because it's her fault, because she gave that one to me. So it's not my fault there. But I had a rabbit, but when I got the rabbit, I was a kid and I had to tell a white lie. I told you my mom, she's a professor, and I tell her like, your students gave me this animal, so what am I supposed to say? No. So I had to bring her home, and I bring the rabbit, but turns out the rabbit wasn't a rabbit, it was a hare. So
what's the difference between the two?
Oh, the hare is like a wild animal. The rabbit is just like a farm animal that is actually sold for being a pet, and the hare is like this yes, it's not a wild animal. It's not comparison. The behavior is totally different. And I was like, and my mom was like, that's not a rabbit, Sofia. And I was like, yeah, it's a rabbit. So I have to give it away. And then I had a bunch of different animals when I was a college student. I had the spider, and then at my lab there was an experiment with fruit flies, and I was like, "Excuse me, can I take this to my home?" And my teacher was, "I like, are you sure?" And I was like, "Yeah, I want a fruit fly as a pet. This is such a cool pet." No, they are not, because they are still like reproducing. And then at first I had 2, then I had like over 100, and I was like, wow, that wasn't a good idea. But then when I finished college and I started like working for a company here in the city, I did a lot of rescuing, because I used to work in a crop farm. I was in the biological control department. But the thing is, we have sometimes wild animals in the middle of the crops, but with all these guidance of you need to be like for the health department, I don't know how to describe it, but the health department have like all these rules that you need to have like this environment like this, and nobody can cross because of the contamination and stuff like that. So I did a lot of rescue of squirrels, frogs, toads, and I came back home with all of those, and my mom was like, "Sofia, are you kidding me?" And I was like, "Mom," but so I had to go to an environment near to the crops to release those animals, but I couldn't keep them as pets, which I support my own idea that don't keeping wild animals as pets. It's not a good idea.
Probably not a good idea.
Yeah, it's not a good idea, because at the end of the day, they're gonna die, because you don't know how to handle like wild animal that is not used to be as a pet. So I release them, like I say my goodbyes, and I'm not gonna forget you, my little opossum.
Nice.
But that's the story.
What are some animal facts that would surprise people?
Most animal facts for me are surprising, but I pick a few from my own videos. Pick a few from my own videos. So
yeah, because you do these videos on all these different animals, a lot of obscure, like kind of weird animals too, right?
I try to pick out the weird ones, because it's not like, oh, I'm gonna go to the depth to the oceans and pick a fish and say like, hey, this is a really good fish. No, it's just I'm gonna show them to you. I'm gonna bring them to you to your screen, so you don't have the need to go down there. I mean, you can go down there, but that's the point. So there's a fun fact that I like, is about golden poison frogs. The most poisonous animal is called Phyllobates terribilis, which is a small frog endemic from Colombia, and they have this toxin. If you touch these frogs, it's most likely like you're gonna die if you touch them. Whoa. Just by touching them, because these frogs, as I have the understanding, they eat like some kind of plant that give them those poisonous properties. So that's the deal with those frogs. Actually, I'm developing a video about them, because I don't have a video about those frogs, but it's like so interesting to me, the side of toxins and what's poisonous and what is not, because I want to be prepared just in case I needed it at some point.
Yeah.
Because there's a bunch of videos out there on the internet that go viral that people, tourists go to Australia. That we know that Australia has a number of animals that are very between poisonous and venomous. So these tourists like hold that, oh, I found this little octopus and I'm gonna save them from I don't know what. And it's dude, that's a blue ringed octopus, and if you touch it, you're gonna die. How am I gonna explain this to you? So that's a really good suggestion. If
what's you mentioned, is there a difference between poisonous and venomous?
Actually, there is. In Spanish. There is not. It's the same word for both things. But from the English perspective, if you touch something that has like venom in the skin, it's poisonous. If you touch it, it's poisonous. But if the animal bites you, the animal is venomous. It's the simplest way I kind to explain it. Like in a snake. Yeah. If the snake bites you, the snake is venomous. But if you touch something and you go, if you die, hopefully not. But this is for the example. But if you die, it's poisonous. That's the difference. Okay. But yeah. And another cool fact, and this is one from my videos. I did a video about raccoons. Such a cute little creatures. And
I used to have a pet raccoon.
Really?
Yeah.
And what happened to him?
So his name was Roxy, and no, his name was Rascal, of course. He fell from a tree. A tree got struck by lightning, and he was a little guy, and the mother died or disappeared, and so we took care of him, and his name was Rascal. I'm not sure. I've had a lot of pets. I grew up on a farm. I have a lot of pets where I don't know what happened to them.
It happens. So, yeah. I mean, I release all my animals that I brought home, and I don't know where they are. Hopefully they are okay and thriving and being happy.
I see. Chicago has so many raccoons. They are huge. They come out at night. So I live kind of by the park. If you go through the park at night by the lake too, they're just enormous raccoons, just like this big. They're huge.
I would love to see them because I love chubby animals for some reason.
Oh man, these guys are something else. But yes, enlighten us with some raccoon facts.
I recently saw a meme about raccoons that this raccoon seems to need a hug, and their answer was like, no, they don't want a hug. They probably will bite you and make you suffer with a lot of pain, because those animals like look so innocent and cute, but they are still wild. So anyway, the fun fact is raccoons wet their paws to make them more sensitive. There is a viral video actually of a raccoon. Probably it's a raccoon in China because the subtitles were in Chinese. But this raccoon that is near to I think it's like a pond of a lake, and he has like a cotton candy. And the cotton candy, the little raccoon like put the cotton candy in the water to wash it, but then it's cotton candy, it's gonna disappear. So then the poor raccoon is like so frustrated, like looking for the cotton candy, and that's the end of the video. So people think raccoons are like so clean because they clean everything, but they're actually doing for a purpose of getting more sensitive on their paws because they want to feel the texture. And they need to like discriminate if the food they are about to eat are good food or is like not good food, Wow. So that's another fun fact that I like about raccoons. And there is another one about hippos.
Ooh, I hear that. Yeah, I hear a lot about hippos.
So let me know, what do you know about hippos?
That they're like vicious, right? You don't want to mess with them.
No, actually, the hippos kill more people in Africa than lions. Wow. Because they seem like so fat and so slow, but oh no, they're like really fast and they're gonna kill you if it's necessary. So yeah, the fun fact here is hippos sweat an oily red liquid to protect their skin. It's like it's like a natural sunblock for them. That's another cool fact. Besides the killing, that's a cool fact.
Do they spend a lot of time in water?
Yeah, most of the time is
Most
in
of the
water,
time in
and
water.
yeah, and there's another fun fact, but it's not a pretty one. It's kind of nasty, but when they poop, they turn their tail like this, splash it all over the place. Even at the zoo, they're like these giant like signs, like please be aware that you can come like super close to the hippos because of this reason, and people sometimes doesn't listen, and the hippos go like moving the tail like splashing poop all over the place. But yeah, I don't know why, but I don't if you ever heard like biologists love this kind of conversation when
I can
you're
tell.
like when you're like near to a biologist and you're like in a conversation surrounded by biologists, all the conversation end up in poop, dead things, and nasty conversation. But we are like so like, oh my god, this is so cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
So be aware of that.
I've noticed that with biologists.
And other cool fact that I like and that I know, it's about planarians. Planarians are flatworms that live in moving water. And these animals are distinctive because they have cross eyes. Their eyes go like they way like cross, like, and they're like super cute. These ones are super cute, are so inoffensive. So nothing happened with flatworms. But the thing here is as similar to axolotls, these animals can grow back parts of their body, even their brains. So if you
how does regeneration work like that with animals? How did they develop that ability?
Okay, I don't want to go into further detail because I'm not an expert, but there's a cell called neoblast or neoblast. There's cells called neoblasts, and these are kind of stem cells. So if you cut an animal that has these properties, the cell is not differentiated, so it has like not a specific purpose. So the animal can repurpose that cells to grow back any limb they want or any part of their body.
Wow.
So for example, if you cut in a half a planarian, you cut their brain, they can grow back a brain, the full brain. But of course, it's not a complex brain like humans, but it's still a brain.
It's still brain.
Yeah. So that's how, in the easiest words, regeneration works, because there are like some animals that have the same properties, like salamanders, and I think some kinds of starfish, and there are like zebrafish, and there's another animal that I can't remember, but it's in the ocean. Yeah, I don't remember the name, but yeah. It's either something. Actually, about talking about animals in the bottom of the ocean or in the ocean, there is like a immoral jellyfish that can die. I mean, it's a saying that it can die because it kinds of reproduces by cloning itself. It's like creating clones of itself. That's why the animal can die. So actually the name of the species is Turritopsis akini, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
So the thing clone itself, and that happens like over and over and over again. That's why it's kind of immoral. I mean, animals are so cool, and when I go back to, okay, let's see about humans, we are so lame, and I was like, no, I'm going back to animals. Because we can, I mean, at some point we can regenerate with just like a small patches of skin or the hair or nails. But if you lose a limb, it's like, good luck with that.
Do you think in the future, I don't know how many years into the future, we'd be capable of regrowing a leg or a foot or finger?
I mean, hopefully. There's like so much research about it, and it's some area that in biology that I am really into. But yeah, hopefully. There's also a little bit not a little bit, actually a lot of research on prosthetics of knees and limbs. And I think that also that's really, really cool. So I don't know if I want to regrow because you just kind of became a really cool cyborg. So
that's true. What do you think is the most significant development in biology of the last 3 years?
Actually, that's a really cool question because there's a lot of research going on. But I'll say right now it's everything about vaccines and antibodies and how everything works because the time we are living. But if we don't count that, we can. My bet is on synthetic biology because everything goes from that aspect. I'm not saying that conservation or ecology, there's no research, of course, but I'm more knowledgeable about this kind of research because it's like more on the internet. But yeah, there's a lot of research going on about synthetic biology, on redesigning organisms and give them like other purposes of the purpose that I want that organism to have. And all of these research come from, like huge universities like MIT and Harvard. And
so what did you say? Scientific biology?
Synthetic biology.
Scientific.
Yeah. Or synthetic biology.
What exactly does that mean?
It's like making stuff for living things. Like you have, I don't know, you have cells of rats, but you want these cells to have another abilities or another characteristics. So I'm gonna give them that purpose by engineering and gene alterations to give them the purpose that I want. Actually, I have like a couple of videos talking about it. There's a thing called nanobots that it comes from cells from a frog. So these scientists like gave them the purpose to create like blocks of cells to like to work together and to build things, small things, but with a specific purpose. The thing is called nanobots or xenobots because the cells of the frog that comes from is called Xenophus levis. It's a kind of frogs. But there's a bunch of stuff going on. The thing is, I'm near to this news because my brother, he is an MIT alumni, but he also did like a post doc at Harvard. So that's why I'm so near to this news. And also he used to work with prosthetics, knees and foot. And that's why I'm telling about the cyborgs, because he showed us their work and I was like, this is so cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, but yeah, it's scientific biology. I don't know if the word is pronounced synthetic or synthetic, but yes, it is what it is about the word. I'm sorry. My beautiful accent is Mexican one, so I put my style on these words. So the other thing about biology is 3D printing. I actually have another video about it, and I think it's such a cool subject. It is 3D printing of organs for replacing parts in humans.
Yeah.
With this, yeah, and you can print a kidney or a liver, and the technique is, I don't want to go there, but it's a combination of making a substrate combining with very specific cells. So if you want to grow a kidney, you have to combine certain things to grow a limb. Actually, there's a picture that is very popular with an ear attached to a rat. I don't know exactly how scientists did it, but they are like growing limbs out of the rats just to make sure the ear is like compatible with organisms. So there is that thing. I know it's really cool. I can tell your face like, whoa. Yes, I know. It has like the same effect on me when I first read it, like how this is happening, how this is possible, but it is. And then I have another video about CRISPR.
Tell me more about CRISPR. I mentioned that in one of my videos a long while ago. Yeah.
Yeah, CRISPR I don't want to go into depth. But
that's a whole.
Yeah, because
yeah,
I'm a general biologist and I understand facts and how things work, but on a general level. So if I want to go into depth, I have to do a lot of research. So that's why I don't claim to be an expert, but I'm trying to do my science communication here and try to explain. So yeah, CRISPR is this technique where you can cut defective DNA and replace it or delete it. So basically, there is an experiment that I talk about in my video with this Chinese scientist that I don't remember his name, but he tried and did some CRISPR on Chinese babies, and he deleted and put chains from of the DNA, the one they want. And I don't know if it was successful, but the news it's like out there. I think the guy is in jail or something, because all the moral laws and bioethics, because that's another really cool subject. But it's you as a scientist need to think a lot about what are you doing and not pretending you'll be all powerful and I can do whatever I want,
and as a global community, a technology like this, we have to figure out how we're gonna go about it together, and navigate it.
It's such a delicate subject. But basically it's that you cut DNA and you target a specific chain, also to avoid mutations or avoid like if the DNA goes wrong. I'm just trying to be perfect. You have like the perfect DNA. So at some point it could be useful, but again, you need to really give it a thought before you give into
you really got to think about the potential
and I was like it's a very important subject, and I think bioethics is there is like a whole situation with bioethics going on for a reason. So and probably a cool thing with CRISPR will be like in the future we can make humans to be virus proof, that we don't have any problem with the virus.
Does that also mean like cancer proof, dementia proof?
Yeah, there's a lot of treatment with CRISPR associated with cancer. Actually, the most research that I know about is about cancer. All these big pharmaceutical companies are doing a lot of research on cancer, which is kind of a really aggressive disease and really terrible for humans. But we are trying to do the best for now and for the future.
Kind of on this note, we're talking about bioethics, we're talking about cyborgs, and you did a video on the science behind superheroes and like which superhero would be the best overall on all these different rankings. I think there's some research that came out of UK that was done over like 10 years. Can you elaborate on that?
Actually, there's two subjects that I like to mix and I combine because I'm fan of the pop culture and I'm such a fan of TV shows and movies and how everything works. That's why I'm a science communicator, right? Because I get to combine two the things I love the most. One is movies and the other one is science. So I was like doing research for this video, and I came across with this research paper, and I was like, this is a video I'm gonna develop. So the study is from the University of Leicester in the UK, and they like make a list with a bunch of superheroes from Thor, Mystique. I think the name of the other guy is Black Bolt and Batman, because they wanted to know which one is the best one and which one is the one with the best equipment, I'm gonna defend the earth and stuff like that. I don't know, I'm not really knowledgeable much about superheroes. I mean, I like superheroes, but I'm not a comic nerd. Sorry for the comic nerds, I'm not I don't have the whole information here, but I have the information on biology if you want. But they put like this list, and they found out like the best superhero is Superman, or at least he has like the best ranking from all the superpowers that they show on the comics and in the movies. And the least probably one to survive a fight between all these superheroes, it's Batman, because his superpower is being rich, which it's a great superpower to have.
That's not bad. It's not a bad place to start.
I mean, if you're rich like him, you can build whatever you want. Oh, I want these gloves with, like laser. There you go. I want this cool cave thing where I can put all my gadgets. There you go. I want a butler. There you go. So you can get whatever you want. But the thing is, in this study, they left out a lot of really cool superheroes, like Wanda from this Scarlet Witch is the name.
Okay.
Wolverine, or
no, Wolverine was
Wolverine
on
is
there.
in. No, it's
he was ranked like 3, I think.
Yeah, it's not Wolverine. It's the other superhero was mentioned. It's Jean Grey. Sorry, X-Men thing. You see, I'm not a true fan. I'm sorry. I'm not a true fan. I'm a fake fan of comics. Now I'm recently watching Loki. Actually, I don't know. Loki is kind of like an anti-hero or a villain, but he wasn't on the study too. I still need to catch up on the last episode, but I'm watching those. Actually, in this pandemic, I was so into WandaVision because, all Disney Plus here in Mexico, it was a new thing because in the States have it like early. And then I got Disney Plus because I'm such a Disney fan. I'm sorry again. I'm a Disney fan, but not a comic one. And then I started watching WandaVision because, all the fuss about it, like everyone going wild on the internet. And I was like, okay, I'm going to give it a chance because I need to try new things. And I started watching and I became obsessed with the show. And I was like, this show is so good. But the thing is, I need context because I have previously watched like some movies from the Marvel universe, but not all of them. And so I have like holes in the plot of my brain, I need to put together everything. So I think are 13 movies. So I watched the 13 movies in a month or less than a month. Okay. It was crazy because I watched like 3 movies per day. Wow. But I needed to do my research. So I watched the whole thing and I was, not that bad. I have like my favorite movies. Actually, my favorite movies probably are Ant-Man and Thor Ragnarok, because Ant-Man because ants, and Thor Ragnarok because it's a funny one. But I put all the dots together and I was like, this is such a cool thing. So I'm slowly getting there and slowly getting into the comics because actually I found out one of my friends is such a nerd. So she was like, oh, actually I got the comics from House of M, which is a combination from WandaVision and the X-Men and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, okay, send it to me and I'll read it. So I'm getting there at some point.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, we're wrapping up on time here for the show. So I have one last question for you that I enjoy asking everybody. I love asking this question. What's something you're curious about recently?
Oh, and I'm curious about everything. But right now, aside of my job of producing and making videos for the internet, I'm also sometimes a book reviewer. So I pre-review books before they go out in the world. So right now I'm reviewing this book called Drunk Flies and Stoned Dolphins. It's gonna be out in August. It's from a friend of mine. And he was like, hey, I'm writing a book. Do you want to review it? And I was like, don't ask, just send it. of course, I'll do it. So I don't know how much I can talk about it because it's still not out there, but it's involved how animals and living organisms obtain, use, and consume chemicals, as in drugs, but for living things. So I'm getting into the first pages of the book, and the book, not because he's my friend, but it's awesome. The author is called Dr. Onepagan. He's such a great friend of mine. But it's such a great book. So funny. It's like having a conversation with him because he's a great guy. But yeah, I'm loving the book. It's like how these animals are getting stoned from, eating plants and stuff like that. And actually the book starts with a memory of a movie that I haven't seen yet, but I know about the movie, about dinosaurs and stuff like that. And it was like, oh, I love this book already, and I'm on page 5.
It's awesome.
So yeah, probably if you follow me on social media, I'll be talking about this book probably a little bit more, because I make also videos about the books that I am reading. But yeah, such a cool book.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. Thanks for coming on. This has been great. I love this conversation.
Yeah, thank you for inviting me. I'm really enjoying it, and I'm sad that this thing is over. But yeah, if you want to know more about animals and stuff and my daily life, there's a lot of me on social media, so you can follow along.
It's good. You can find her on YouTube as the Biologist Apprentice, and Sofia Biologist. How do I say it? Biologist, biologista.
Yeah, something like that. In Spanish, is Sofía Biologista. It was a combination of Sofia and the Biologist Apprentice. I'm just put it together because, as you can see, I have a kind of a hard last name, so I was like, okay. But I think I made it harder.
It's good. It's good. Yeah. Thanks again.